Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. Wow, that was a game. That was a game that just happened. Not surprised by the results, considering no Isaiah Hartenstein, no Jericho Sims, Taj started tonight for the Knicks, for the incredibly depleted Knicks, though we did get to see the debut of Bojan Bogdanovic and at the return of Alec Burks. It was spoiled. It was spoiled by the Pacers, man. The Pacers are a lethal offensive team. I know we beat them about 5 games ago, but this time was a little different. The defense just wasn't there, especially in the second half. But mostly it was actually in the first half. We gave up 61 points in that first half when we actually had some energy. And the team just ran out of gas. Going to get into all of this. My name is George. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for me and turn on the notification bell if you can. That way you're alerted when I drop a video or I go live. And we're going to get into it. I don't have highlights for you here. It's not going to be that deep a recap because there's really not much of note to talk about in terms of the long run, except a couple of things that have concerned me. One of them is Josh Hart. His play has been wildly inconsistent, and it's taken a downturn in one key area, and we'll get into that. But let's get into this game. Here we go. The Pacers came to New York, to MSG, and beat us 125-111. And that was basically all the second half because the first half, the Knicks were only down by 4. I think it was 61-57. And it looked tight. It looked like, the team could really do something. And even in that third quarter when the Pacers created a little bit of spacing, the Knicks were able to get back into it. But at the end of the third quarter buzzer, Tyrese Haliburton just hit a step back 30-footer, which was a killer. So, and then I think that kind of took the wind out of the sails of the Knicks going into that fourth quarter. They didn't have much left, not much gas left. Hold on. Got a little dry mouth. Yeah, it was disappointing, but not surprising, honestly. It was kind of it was a difficult matchup at this point. The Pacers are all healthy right now, and Tyrese was playing amazingly, and so was our guy. Jalen Brunson had an amazing game as well, but only 1 for 5 from the three-point line. Almost 40 points he provided. 39 points for Jalen Brunson in 37 minutes. 14 of 25, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. The team as a whole only had 16 assists. Now, when the shooting numbers ended up not being that terrible, but they were pretty bad in the first half. They ended up, Knicks shot 10 of 32 for the three-point line, 31.3%, 47.6% overall. But when you look at the numbers, here, we'll just jump over to the Pacers right now. Look at this. Pacers shot 61% tonight. 61%. 48.3% from the three-point line. Almost 50% from the three-point line. They connected on 14 made three-pointers, where the Knicks only connected on 10. And rebounding. Knicks got hurt in the rebounding battle. Precious Achiuwa had a nice game, though. He played 43 minutes. Most on the team, 15.6 rebounds for him. Hit his 1 3-point attempt. He hit all his attempts, including a 3-point shot. But Dante just didn't have it tonight. He played 39 minutes. He shot 6 of 15 overall, 2 of 9 from the 3-point line, 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Josh Hart, though he did come through with 10 rebounds, look at this. No one else, even with more, Pressure's at 6. That's it. 10 and 6. Between those two guys with 16 rebounds, everyone else is like 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. So the way that this Knicks team is constructed, you have to rebound the ball, and the Knicks just couldn't do it tonight. They were just small. We were small. Biggest guy we started was Taj Gibson, and he only played 19 minutes. He looked gassed. He looked like he's not ready. He's not in game shape, and he may just, the age may have totally caught up to him. He may never get into game shape, but we just needed bodies. We needed somebody out there. This was just one of those games. I'm not going to get overly excited about it, in terms of being disappointed. Now, it's just one of those games. I could easily have seen the Knicks come out with high energy and great execution and a lethal three-point shooting from DiVincenzo, and they just swing that ball around the horn. But when you have two new guys, it's hard to have that that cohesion. And that's really what we saw, a lack of that cohesion and size. A lot of times, Bojan didn't even know where to be on the floor, which is understandable. Alec Burks, of course, had a better familiarity for it, and he started cooking, especially in that second half. He had a nice game, a nice debut. And he had 22 points in his 22 minutes, 7 of 14. He hit like 3 3-pointers at one point late, where the Knicks were trying to get back into it, trying to get it to cut it to 11 points and stuff. They never could get it under 10 in that fourth quarter. But he shot 4 of 7. Deuce struggled offensively. Missed his 2 3-point attempts. He did hit his 2 inside the arc shots in his 11 minutes. We only played 11 minutes. So that's an indication. On a night where we're incredibly depleted, and Deuce only plays 11 minutes, there was something flawed with the rotation. It just was compromised from the beginning. And a lot of that comes from Josh Hart. I got to say, Josh Hart's style of play in these type of scenarios, he's kind of reminding me of a little, now, I don't want to say feast or famine like Johnny Starks, but it just tremendous swings, man. If you just look at his last, so Josh Hart, for example, let's just get to this part here. So this is Josh Hart's numbers from cleaning the glass, where, they take out garbage time. And this is his whole career from 2017 through today. And in the beginning, when you look at the PSA column, which is the second column with the colored numbers there next to between usage and assist percentage, that is points scored per 100 attempts. Now, look at this. He's at a career worst 104.3 this season. Last season when he came to the Knicks, look at that. He was in a 98th percentile, 138.9 points scored per 100 shot attempts. That's almost 140. That's fantastic. It's right up there with the very, 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 very top 98th percentile. He's had that kind of situation before when he was first traded to Portland from the Pelicans in 2021-22. Well, in 2021-22, he was having a nice season right there. You could see his numbers. His usage was up right there, 17.9%, so he was 62 percentile. 83 percentile in the PSA, and when he went to Portland, that even got better. He went in the 97 percentile, 128. And then when he started the season last season with Portland, it had dropped down to 67th percentile, 118 PSA, but then it spiked when he came to the Knicks, and it was fantastic. And that's when the Knicks went on that 9-game run, and he helped us. He helped us get into that playoff situation, and he was a key player in that Cavs series. But this whole season has been a little different. His efficiency is down. He's a career 34.6% three-point shooter. This season, he's averaging under 31%. He's a 46% field goal shooter overall. This season, he's at 42%. So his field goal percentage for his career is at 54.4%. This season, it's at 48.6%, which is way low compared to other players. Though his assists are up over his career. He's at 3.2 assists per game, where he averages 2.5. His rebounding is at 7 per game, and he is definitely one of the best rebounding players, 6'4" and under. They have him listed here as 6'5", but I think he's 6'4". He's listed at 6'4" in this other side here. So 6'4" and under. He's I think he actually may be the best rebounder. He's averaging 7, but so that's up for his career. But his points are down. 9.6 points is what he averages for his career. He's at 7.8. The reason I bring up the career numbers, because that shows you kind of where he's at in general as a player. Sometimes he gets more usage, as you can see when he was in New Orleans, and that's going to give you more points, if you have more usage. But in this situation, he's not being as efficient as he has been in his past career and as efficient as we need him to be. So, for example, when he came to the Knicks, not all of his non-3-point shots, all his 2-point shots, he averaged 62%. He connected on 62% of his 2-point attempts. This season, he's just barely over 50%. He's at 50.2. That's a big. That's an 11% drop in efficiency in 2 points. So that's a concern. That's another concern for him. And what else is there to note here? His I wanted to see his true shooting. It was field goal percentage. I mentioned that he's at 48.6%, which is a career low. That is a career low for him. So he is struggling offensively. And if you watched the game tonight, you saw a very, very unconfident shooter. His three-point shot was just not there at all, which is so odd because sometimes it looks so good. Now, so he's struggling offensively, and that may be also one of the reasons why the Knicks went out, why they were considering getting Bruce Brown for a while, and why they went out and got a 2-for-1 deal, basically, because Fournier was out of the rotation, and Malachi was also basically out of the rotation. So for Grimes, we were able to get Burks and Bojan. So hopefully in the long run, that will help. I'm pretty sure it will. I will. But this is something to be concerned about right now, especially with the amount of usage that minutes that Thibs gives to Josh Hart. Thibs loves Josh Hart because he's a rebounder, but he is starting to hurt us in other areas. So you have to weigh the positives with the negatives. And at this point, he might be someone who needs to get a few less minutes once everyone is healthy so that he can get his game sharper. We can't have wasted possessions, and a lot of the times that's what happens with him. He commits a lot of turnovers. I mean, he's turnover prone his whole career. You can see all that blue. Blue is terrible. Dark blue is the worst, 7%. 7th percentile last year with the Knicks, 15.3% turnover rate. He's at 12.8% now, which is still only the 18th percentile. So that's very low, very low. You want to be around 10, you want to be under 10% truly, so which is actually what he was when he was a rookie with the Lakers. Now, let's go back to the stats here. So he's definitely concerned. You can see 36 minutes, only 4 points, missed both of his 3-point shots. But he did pick up 5 assists, which is nice. He actually led the team with 5 assists tonight. Dante, I already covered that. Bogey, wasn't sharp at all tonight. He did play 33 minutes, only 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 11 points. Not, an exciting debut for him, but I have no worries about him at all. He just doesn't know the offense, doesn't know the players. I think one time he just threw maybe it was Josh Hart. I can't remember who it was, but he was totally part of a couple of turnovers there. But again, it's just, these guys don't practice with each other in off days. They just get the time when they're together on the floor in the game. So we're going to have to wait and see. And the Knicks, look, they started basically 60% of their starters normally. Well, when you look at, Josh Hart is not normally a starter. Taj Gibson, is on a 10-day contract. And Precious Achiuwa is new. He's not a starter on this team. So, we're missing 60% of our starters. I don't know what happened. Suddenly when I turned this on, I started getting dry mouth. And there, look, the plus minus. Josh Hart, a minus 20 tonight. He was by far the worst player in terms of plus minus tonight. Precious, though, he played a good game. He happened to be sharing the floor a lot with Josh Hart, and he was struggling getting rebounds. He only picked up 6 rebounds himself. He was a minus 12, and Bogey was a minus 10. Everyone else was in the single digits, and even Jalen Brunson, who gave us 39 points, ended up being a minus 7 tonight. When you look at the Pacers stats, man. Nice. 4 of their 5 starters in double figures, and Nembhard, even though he only ended up with 7 points, he plays a nice game defensively and he moved the ball around. Isaiah Jackson had really impactful game for himself. 17 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 6 overall, 8 rebounds, and he was all over the floor flying. He had a great dunk at one point. And then, the Nick killer. There's always 2 or 3 Nick killers that's unexplainable. Why? Ricky Rubio used to be one. Nick Killer came into the Garden. TJ McConnell in 16 points in 18 minutes, 8 of 10. He only missed 2 of 10. That's all he missed. He didn't even take a 3-point shot. Didn't need to. The guy was just so effective inside the arc, and those points were big for them, really big for them. Tyrese Halliburton finished with 22 points, 12 dimes, 4 of 9 from the 3-point line. Look at that. Look at them. They shot almost 50% from the three-point line. 14 of 29 overall as a team. And they're a lethal shooting team. Nesmith is the best shooting percentage three-point shooter in the league right now. Halliburton is right up there. They ended up trading Buddy Hield recently. They got Dougie McBuckets, who used to a former Knick as well. He's back with the Pacers. He only played 7 minutes there. And our guy, Obi Toppin, who probably is going to regret trying to do that between the leg dunk. Because that's going to be all over Shaq and a Fool. It's going to be on ESPN tonight. I saw already 10 people posted it on Twitter. I feel bad for him, but he actually had a decent game, 9 points for him. But still, only 2 rebounds in 17 minutes. But it didn't matter because the Indiana Pacers out-rebounded the Knicks 41-32. Ooh, that's bad. Let's get to the team. Yeah, here we go. The team stats. As you can see, the Pacers, 61% overall. It's tough to beat a team that you allow to shoot 61%. There were times during rotations, guys were getting wide open looks. And that I would attribute to just new, players that are not familiar with each other on the court together, playing against a fully healthy squad who is a high-flying, high-scoring team like the Pacers. So you're going to suffer. You can see the Pacers had 30 assists. We only had 16. That's a minus 14 right there. They were plus 9 on us in rebounding, and that's usually our strength. The free throws, for example, if they hit their free throws, this game would have been totally a blowout, completely. They beat us by 14. If they hit a few more free throws, if they hit 80% of the free throws, this thing's a 20-point defeat. We only missed 2. 91.3% for us, and only 31.3% from the three-point line. Yuck. The total turnovers, they did commit a lot of turnovers, 16, but we committed 9 turnovers, but unfortunately that didn't really matter in terms of the actual final score. The fast break points, there wasn't much fast breaks in this game, and that hurts us, actually. You would think it would hurt them more, but it actually hurts us more, because we get those rebounds, we get those second chance opportunities as well, but we get those rebounds when we force Pacers a miss, or we force them to turn it over, or we get a nice steal, get out there on the break, but we couldn't get that going tonight. So the Knicks only ended up with 4 fast break points. They ended up with 8 points in the paint. We lost that battle too, which is something that we normally excel at. 54-62. We were minus 9 in that. We did lead by 4 points at one point. The largest lead was 22 by the Pacers. Now, I want to show you guys something before we sign off, because I told you this was going to be a quick-ish one. This was shown during the broadcast. If you watched the game, you saw this. This is very important stats, the way these are broken out. And I did show some of these earlier in the previous video. Not in this format, obviously, but from the corner threes, which Thibs loves those. Bojan Bogdanovic is 43% this season, and Burks is at 40%. In catch and shoot threes, they're both over 40%. Pull-up threes, which is something awesome, especially when you're out there and you're in front of the defense. The defense catches up onto you, and they're collapsing back towards the basket, expecting you to go and try to do a layup. Take it, boom, pump, shoot it. 38% for Burks, 47% for Bojan. And then overall, 40% for Burks, 42% for Bojan. So I know that we got some amazing offensive players right now for this type of team. However, we did give up some defense. When you look at the major players that we gave up, which is IQ, RJ, and Grimes. Now, IQ and Grimes are 2 very, very good defenders. IQ, in all metrics, is one of the best defending guards in the NBA. That's just the facts. And so we miss out on that. But we got back one of the best overall defenders in the NBA, which is OG. But OG does get hurt. And he had that surgery, and he's out for 3 weeks. And that hurts. It hurts, especially when you are in a playoff run. You're trying to get the best seed you can possibly get. And when you have key players missing games, that's something you have to weigh when you're making these trades. So obviously, Leon felt it was worth it. And I consider it worth it as well to get someone of that quality. I wish we hadn't given up quickly. See, that's the thing. We have not replaced quickly at all on this roster, and it's very difficult to do such a thing. It's just very difficult. I know Deuce gives us some of that defense, but he's a little smaller, and honestly, Quickly is a better half-court defender than Deuce is. Deuce is great at point of attack. He's excellent at that. He's a good one-on-one defender, but in terms of understanding how to defend spaces on the floor, Quickly is becoming a master at that. And there's people that put out videos that show examples. I mean, him guarding 3 different guys. It's kind of like, similar. He's like a little mini version of Mitch, the way Mitch can guard 3 different guys at one time, pretty much in a single possession. So we're really missing that, and we have not replaced it because Burks doesn't give you that. He's a decent defender, but he doesn't give you that. And Bojan is not. He's not a good defender, but he's larger. So we sacrificed in some areas, but gained a little bit in areas that we didn't have at all. But overall, especially when you look at Grimes being gone, this team has taken a hit defensively. That's something that Tom Thibodeau, the defensive wizard, is going to have to address. Now, it's hard to do it when you are still incredibly depleted, shorthanded. There's no Randall, there's no OG, there's no Mitch, and Isaiah Hartenstein didn't play at all because he's nursing that Achilles tendinopathy. So, which is, it's just he's going to have to rest it. I think he's probably going to rest. He's probably not going to play at all until after the All-Star game, which is what I would do. Just sacrifice these next. I think there's 3 games left. You just have to sacrifice them and hope that maybe we'll pick up somebody else right now because Taj doesn't quite have it enough. And the thing is, Jericho Sims has been sick. So he would have been great during this period, but now he's sick. So it's all this confluence happening all at the same time, and it's severely impacted our defense, not our scoring. Look, we ended up with 111 points. It's impacted our defense. That is something that Thibs and Leon is going to have to address because I did just say, we just sacrifice these next 3 games, but I take that back. We shouldn't sacrifice them. So let's bring someone in. Let's bring somebody in right now that can at least defend the paint, defend the rim, that has some hops to them. We've got to be able to find somebody like that. I believe that Thaddeus Young is out there. He did a decent job defensively for Toronto, at least around the rim. And he has a decent game down low. He doesn't have many moves, but at least he's an efficient scorer down low. He can get you some rebounding. He's a decent rebounder. So somebody like that, or anybody else, I don't care. Just someone who can defend the rim, give us a few rebounds, get some minutes, and but maybe Sims will be healed and he'll be back for the next game, and then he'll be the answer to that. So this is where we're in right now. We're in a situation of flux. So we just have to be patient, and there's going to be nights where everyone's going to hit their shots. Dante's going to be hitting them, Brunson, Burks, Bojan. Everyone's going to be raining threes and getting to the hoop and killing people in the paint, and we're going to blow people out. It's going to happen. Even undermanned and undersized, we're still going to be able to do that. There's going to be nights like that. Unfortunately, it wasn't tonight. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button for me, and I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.